Although women have made great strides in America, there are still places in the world that continue to mistreat women. Dr. Munish Batra is a plastic surgeon that travels around the world with his colleagues to help treat many of these women. By the way, I want to tell you how honored I am to have you on PrimeTime. Thank you so much. And thank you for what you're doing in the world for my gender.
No, thank you.
And some of the viewers might know, but a lot of viewers I don't think really understand what's happening in other countries. So first of all, why don't you tell us, explain what you're doing and what your cause is and why you're inspired to do that.
So the cause is based on not just treating women, but that's a big part of our mission. There's a group of Indian plastic surgeons known as ASIPS, American Society of Indian Plastic Surgeons, that was formed about 4 or 5 years ago. And our goal is to go back to India and other countries where women may have the stigmata of violence or abuse and try to get them functional again, because a lot of times we're not going to be able to take care of them completely on a cosmetic level, but at least get them functional to the point where they're able to take care of themselves and not be left with these horrible scars. And in particular, on this last trip, we treated a number of women who either were attacked with acid or hot oil type burn injuries that basically melted their bodies into a candle type.
And from what I understand, they're called bride burnings, or what is it?
Well, some people refer to them as dowry burnings, where some of these women, they've been married into families that expect a dowry, and they may not get the dowry, so
they take it out on this innocent woman.
Exactly.
And it's funny that you marry a woman, you get a dowry. Jeez.
Yeah, so it was really outlawed in India in the 1960s, but there are still some you know, very backwards places in India, the small villages, where they still consider that to be, you know, part of the social system. So they don't marry the women because they love them. They marry, it's an arranged marriage, and they marry them for their wealth, their dowry. Yeah, their hope is that they'll get something more than just the bride out of this.
That makes me so sad. So when they don't get the money, why do they burn the women? I don't understand. What are they get? They're not going to get more money, a larger dowry if they burn. So what's the meaning there?
You know, I don't think there's any meaning behind it, except that it's the frustration of the individual who may not have gotten what he had expected out of this marriage, or their family may not have gotten what they had expected.
And that's a way to show everybody?
Yes.
Are they hoping to kill her or just disfigure her?
Well, I think more often than not, they know that this isn't going to kill the person, but they do recognize that this is going to be a disfigurement that the person's going to live with the rest of their life, and that everyone will know that they didn't perform up to what they were supposed to.
And some of those images are just so appalling, and your heart just goes out for these women. You don't, and it's painful, brutally painful.
Yes.
But explain some of the other complications. That's a minor burn, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that's a minor burn. The ones that we deal with routinely are much more significant, where the lips and the chin may be all, you know, stuck to the chest wall where the person can't eat. The eyes may be pulled down where they get corneal ulcerations, and the eyes dry out. So our mission on a lot of these trips is to go over there and release all these contractures and these horrific burns.
That's scar tissue.
Right.
And what are they using to burn? Some kind of acid, right?
Yeah, usually you know, at least in places like India, you know, the things like battery acid are a lot more available. And so it may not just be dowry burnings that lead to this, but it may be someone who's a jilted lover that is very upset, and their way of taking it out on the person is to throw acid on them.
That it's upsetting my stomach just to hear these stories. Yeah. And we have more images. My producer has decided they're too graphic for television. I think it's important for people to see, because I think that's the way you create awareness.
Exactly.
But since I can't take a viewer poll, then we'll just have to go with a better judgment.
Right.
But they are. There's one right there, and you can see
the arm is contracted, and that person wouldn't be able to even feed herself or hold her child. So we would go in and we would cut the scar tissue to get the arm more functional. And you know, that's a minor sort of a problem, even though in this woman it's a big problem. But some of the burns we see are just devastating, where the chest is burned to the point where the person even has difficulty breathing, and you have to release all these chest scars.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
and that young woman with the arm looked so young. I mean, she looked like a teenager.
Yeah, and a lot of these villages and backwards communities, they get married in their teenage years, and it is very disheartening for us as surgeons when we go overseas to see that things haven't really changed in some parts of India. Unfortunately, there's so much of this that goes on because the population is so big that it's still something that's prevalent. And when we go overseas to do this kind of work, we're probably seeing a very small portion because most of these patients are too disfigured to even come out of their house and show themselves.
Well, let me ask you, what inspired you to go and give your times? Obviously, it costs you a lot of money. You have a thriving business here. Do you still have family there? What is it that motivates you?
So one of the things that motivates me is that I was born in India and I grew up there, and I felt when I came to this country that I had an opportunity that many Indians have not had. I grew up in Ohio, went through school, I knock on wood, I have an amazing, cosmetic surgery practice here, and I do very well financially. So what could I do? Well, I could sit here. Yeah. And so starting when the tsunami happened in 2004, I started going back to India every year because during the time of the tsunami, I felt like they needed my sort of expertise. And then for every year since then, we've gone back, including some other surgeons that have been recruited to this. And all of us have been born and raised in India, and we all feel compelled to go back because there are people, we're one of the very lucky, and there's no reason we shouldn't go back and try to make their lives better.
Why can't everybody have your attitude? Jeez, it'd be world peace if everybody thought the way you did.
I'm not.
True story, and I'm very, very honored. Is there a message that you'd like to tell our viewers? Is there a way that they can also, in that message, can they also contribute money to this? Obviously, it costs a lot of money to do this.
Well, it does cost a lot of money, and all the surgeons pay for their own trip. We pay for our own lodging and all that, and that's our commitment. And we actually all take a percentage of our own income and contribute to this organization.
Like a tithe.
Right. So we contribute to that, and I would say that from our standpoint, what would be important is to get people to have some awareness of this problem, and whether it's writing to their representatives, they can get on our website, which is Coastal Plastic Surgeons, which is linked to a lot of these patients.
Let's see if we can pull that up. Can we pull up? There it is, right there.
And if you go into that website, all of our charitable websites are linked to it. And in fact, we actually have a website based out of San Diego where we take care of a lot of the patients in San Diego that need reconstructive surgery. It's called Doc's Charity. And every year we do about 10 to 20 operations on San Diegans that have fallen through the cracks.
Okay, so when you do something, I want to be there.
Yeah,
okay?
of course. We'll invite you. We'll definitely invite you.
Important.
We'll definitely invite you.
So important. Yeah. Again, so honored for you to come on our show.
Thanks for having us.
You're a blessing to everybody.
Appreciate it. Thank you.